First, talk about the difference between oil and watercolor. If we can see the connections between the oil and the watercolor, it will be easier to transfer the knowledge that we already know about watercolor into the oil. And basically, it's not much difference. It's the mediums different. We're not using water. When you dilute it, get to use the gamso. This is what I recommend. There's just no color, no smell, no toxic for diluted color. In the pinks, already have linseed oil in it. Additional oil, I recommend the walnut oil. When I need to carry the medium outside of my studio, I have this one because the cap is closed. You can put it in a backpack. Some people are allergic to any of the smell of oil. I want to have the window open. You might want to open the door to circulate the air. The support for the painting, make sure it's strong enough because the oil, it will be thicker than watercolor. Watercolor, the paint would go inside the paper. The oil paint is not going inside the board. Making sure your support would be strong enough. What we talk about the support would be the paper or the canvas board, and so on. I usually use canvas board for small painting. Bigger painting, you would want to have a stretched canvas. I have this one actually from Artisa 8x10. Pretty good for the exercise. So I'm going to take this individually wrap. So I'm going to take the plastic shrink off. On the other side, I have a glass. The reason I'm using a glass for mixing color, easy for me to clean up. This is a regular glass, but I paint the gray paints on the back. This is a utility knife. It's very easy. Just scratch it off and return it back to really clean. The gray palette helps you to see the color is lighter or the color is darker than the middle tone. And some artists, they want to tone the canvas also to the middle tone. You can see the balance a little bit better. Some artists, they like to finish a whole painting in one section. And some artists, they like to do it over the drive again and again. Can take a month to finish a painting. And about paper towel, this is what I would recommend. You can get this from any store almost. 2 or 3 brushes is good enough for the whole painting process. You don't have to clean the brush really clean before you change color. So we're going to talk about those. Start having a good habits. Make it simple, easy for us. Speaking of different sizes of color, take a look at this. Is what I recommend. You're a serious painter. You want to get the bigger tube. It would last very long. It will save a lot more money. When you open the paint, sometimes it's really sticky. Try to open it really hard to twist it. If you can't open it like this, like I can't open this, 2 ways help you to open it better. One way is to have a clamp. So I'm going to show you how to use that. The other way is to bring it to hot tap water. Have the water run for a minute, and this will be all softened, and you can open it. Hold it, and then you twist it. Now you can open it. Now I have the blue color open. I'm going to start with the white color. I'm going to open the white color. Need the clamp to help you. It open. Now I'm going to squeeze. About how much paint do we need for each section? Based on your judgment on the painting that you're going to do. Some painting is lighter, you may need a little bit more white. Think about the color that you're going to mix. How much white do you need? And make a little judgment. Sometimes you need more blue color. Some painting you need a little bit more yellow color. But you don't want to put too much color. You can always refill a little bit more color later. But you don't want to put too little. So the next color I'm going to put it up is the yellow color. A little yellow color over here. It should have enough. I try to keep it the same way that I do it with watercolor. Same system. Watercolor, I don't have white, so I add the white on the left side. But I always have yellow, red, and blue. So I keep it that same order. You don't really need that many colors. For the cleaner, it's very important to have something really close. Put it on the side over here. Palette knife. I have a couple set of palette knife. It's not a must-have item. Some people mixing some certain colors. Take a little white and put over here. I'm gonna mix a little color. I'm gonna mix a little skin color. I'm gonna know that as this much yellow probably, and then put it over here and take a little red. Okay, I'm gonna mix it together. Let's see. This is probably kind of the color that I want, and so the palette knife is easier for you to just mix the color. I'm gonna take a little color over here. Okay, if this is the color you want, okay. It looks like I need a little bit blue. Take a little blue color and blend it over here. Now I have the whole pile of color that I really going to use. And oh, too much blue. This blue color is really strong. So I'm gonna get a little bit red over here. I don't need to mix the whole thing. I'm gonna mix a little bit over here, a little bit yellow. I can pick. Always take the color from the corner. Get a little white color. All you need to do is just wipe it off. Sometimes painting have a really thick. Just take the color, or maybe the white color, the yellow color, or mix a little color and put it on the top. Or sometimes some of the texture, I need to remove it, so I use the palette knife. Most of the time I just use the brush, and I don't need to pre-mix the colors when I'm painting. I'm very much the same process that I do for watercolor painting. So let's talk about the basic of oil paintings. I'm going to show you how I'm going to start it. I'm going to use this smaller brush to do a little drawing. First, I'm going to take a little bit gum salt and take a little color, any color you want. So since I already mixed this color, so I just use this color for the drawing. You want to just thinking about shapes and how you're going to make the shape look interesting. For example, I'm focusing on the white area. I'm going to have it like that. I want to have something really diluted. Just a little bit similar to what you would draw with the watercolor. It's very, very diluted. So I focus on what is the size of this shape right over there. Now I'm thinking about, should I have this shape a little bit larger? Maybe a little bit larger. Maybe put it down a little bit. And like that. And what about the back over here? Should I want to include some of the gap? Maybe I have a little gap over here, but I don't want to include all the gap. I want you to spend more time about playing with the idea. If you want a little bit more diluted, just get a little gum salt. Oil painting, you always start with lean versus less oil, less fat. Oil gives you the convenience that you can actually change the composition at any time. And maybe have a little tree and coming in like this. But I don't want to have too many. It just come in a little bit. Before you put your brush away, you put your brush into the gum salt, right? And use the paper towel. It just clean it a little bit. That's good enough. So now I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush. Take the gum salt first. Now I'm going to mix some really thin colors. I'm focusing on the big area. I'm going to take a little blue and mix it in the gray color that I already have. Now I'm going to take a little bit white color. I'm going to mix from the corner over here. Need a little bit more warmer color. I'm going to get it like that. It still need a little bit more blue. I'm mixing in. And I get this color. And oil paint, it stays the same color after it dries. And it's very different from acrylic. Acrylic after it dries look darker. So I'm going to have this color, just going to put it over here. Take a look. And now I'm going to need a little bit more gum salt. Now I'm going to add a little bit more blue color to it. Take a look again. Holding the brush like this, especially when they paint it on a bigger canvas, use the elbow to move. But for a smaller one, you can hold it like this, just use the wrist to move. Put the color down over here. In that case, you're going to mix a little bit more red with the blue color. And this is a little bit more like a purple color, right? A little bit more purple color. I'm going to put it right over here. A little bit purple brown color. I'm going to put over here first. Now I'm going to use a little bit gum salt if you want to dilute the color. At the beginning, you don't want to add the oil. Just add the gum salt. And now I have this color. And then I'm gonna add this kind of dark greenish color. Just get a little bit blue. You see that I haven't cleaned my brush. But if you see that too much red in it, you can just always just let go some paint, right? Because you do need enough of the blue colors in the brush. I'm gonna take a little yellow color, like that. Now look like a little bit green, but I have a little bit more blue, right? So I have a little bit blue, but maybe too dark. You are using a little white color. Now mix it into it. Now I get this color right over here. They're similar. Just apply to it as quick as you can. Like that. Now I have the base color. The whole process is for you to figure it out how the color is going to work together. And you always allow yourself to keep back and forth, and keep changing it until you're happy about it. This is the freedom of oil paint. Like that. So it's a little bit more of this color. Maybe it's too much. Now I wipe off the brush. Now I can make it a little bit thinner. So if you really don't want that color, you can use the paper towel and just to wipe it off. And that's over here. I'm going to wipe off a little bit, make it a little bit lighter, like that. I'm going to come back over here to adjusting it. Remember when we're doing watercolor paintings, always adjusting. You don't want it just directly coming into the finish, because this may not be good enough for you to move forward to the next step. So like say this color, maybe you want to change it. This color can be a little bit different. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to have a little bit blue color. I'm going to get a little bit blue color. So don't take too much blue. Just take a little bit from the side, okay? If you get too much, the color is you're mixing too much color that you need. A little bit like that. I think this is too bright. In that case, I'm going to take a little bit red color, a little brown color over here, and a little bit like that. I'm going to try it to have this color closer to the way I want it. This is good. I'm going to blend this over. I want the color actually mixed with the color I already have it underneath. So I'm going to have it like this. So I want you to paint like you don't really care much. It's just you do care, but you don't want to have the brush stroke look too tight. And I'm also going to get it down a little bit closer to here. I just touch this color. That means my brush already have some of the color blended into my brush. In that case, what you need to do, just use the paper towel and just remove some of them. So everything can get already off. So I want this to be a little bit darker. In that case, I'm going to have a little bit darker, the brown color mixed into here. And a little bit blue, just a little bit tiny blue. Now this color dark enough. Now I see that. Now I'm going to actually put this color in here and kind of a little bit blend in. Right now I have this soft blending together with this color underneath. And then I'm going to let go some of the color. I'm going to take this color again, the little lighter color. Now I have it blending together. So this, see that? The oil is very easy to have it blend because it's still wet. It's wet gonna for a long time. Now I can change the color like that. Now take a look at this color, look much more smoother. I still have a little color over here. So I'm gonna get a little white color and mix it from the corner. Okay, you don't mix in the middle. Now the color, it's just a little bit, tap on it, it's good. I have a little color, a little bit lighter, and it already help. Maybe a little bit more white, and mix that a little bit over here, and maybe over here, a little bit lighter. Just a little bit like that. Keep it economic, and keep it like a loose. Not think about the grass, I think about the texture. I'm gonna take this color and this color a little bit. I'm gonna put over here. I'm gonna have a little bit shape down over here. And very soon, you have a painting already. So I'm gonna have that color over here too. That is just the beauty of the brush stroke work. It makes you express your emotion. And I'm gonna have a little bit over here. I'm gonna have a little bit, have a little green, and still have a little bit, have some texture, a little bit like that. Wipe off, clean my brush. Just take a little white color. Here you go. I'm gonna throw a little bit white gap over here. See that? A little bit like that. And just think about a shape. Is that good enough? And if not, and how thick do you want? You see that? and a little bit coming in like this. Now I have a little white shape on the top, make the people think about the sky. Try to have some kind of shape to balance it. Now I add a little bit details, so making sure the last shape in a good value before you're going into do the smaller shape, because it's gonna make a very distraction, very complicated, right? So over here, I'm also gonna have a little bit lighter shape over here too. I'm just gonna have it coming like this and showing the suggestions of the light beam. Doesn't matter what painting or how complicated painting, it's always start from really simple, the large shape, and before you go into smaller shape. I divide the shape into darker and lighter, and I'm gonna have even a little bit more light over here, on the top over here. I'm gonna have a little bit more lighter, like that. Look at that, that is a little bit lighter. Like a generalize the big shape. Okay, you don't want to get into the too small, and you always can change to add the darker or lighter shape into the bigger shape, like that. So the background has been prepared, like that. And the bottom over here, I'm gonna have a little bit gray, so I have a little bit more red into this mixture. And I also gonna add a little smaller shape. You see that? It's so easy. Just add a couple brushes, and I can have the suggestions of another plane. Now I'm gonna mix a little yellow color. I'm gonna put it right here. A little yellow color, but it's not so bright. I'm gonna get a little white. When you mix color, always mix from the corner, because you don't know how much color do you need. I'm gonna add a little bit red. Just take a little bit red, a tiny red. I also tap it over here. I don't mix the whole thing. I make sure I know exactly how much I need. This is good, right? That's as much color I need. And I'm gonna put this color, right? A little bit more white. And I'm gonna put it right over here. See that? I'm gonna start putting that, the other shape. Okay. Put it right over here. Be real careful that how light this color will be, how bright the color you want it to be, okay? And also be a little careful about how the color is gonna blend from the dark shape. I'm gonna have it see a little bit in, a little up, like that. Okay, I'm gonna put this color in here. Take the new color. Now slowly I'm gonna apply the color, fill it into this big shape. Now here you go, coming up like this. I'm gonna one brush stroke, and that's good. Now I'm come back to have a little bit more details in the top over here. I'm gonna tap a little bit white color. If you want to change the shape at any time, you can always change it. This is oil painting. Now on the top over here, I'm gonna have a little bit darker color, so get the red and the blue color, and that a little bit more blue color. Okay, now I'm gonna have it a little bit darker. I'm gonna have a little bit over here, a little bit, a couple stroke like this, some texture, create that like a little bit. That's add a little detail in here. Now we talk about, we may have a little tree come out from here. Let's do that. Let's get the blue color, a little red color. That's a very dark color. And maybe a little yellow, because maybe a little too dark. I need to show it like a little bit greenish. So I'm going to take this color, a little bit more dark green. If you want to be lighter, you mix with the white color. So now I'm going to see, I'm going to have just a little bit shape. Just use the side of the brush, like that. You can rotate it like this. Just add a little shape to it, like that. Just tap on it, have a little shape, and that's probably good enough. Maybe a little too lonely. What about a little bit over here too? Well, it's totally up to you. It's kind of like a, but this is between this and this like a parallel shape. So I definitely want to break it So I'm gonna have a little bit coming like this. Adjustment with the large brush. I'm gonna fix the color over here. I'm gonna have a little bit blue. So this is good. A little bit more blue then. And now get a little white color. And take a look at how dark that color is supposed to. Like I'm gonna take this color. That should be good enough. Let's take a look again. I think I need to be even lighter. Okay. Before I have the yellow color, it looks good enough. But I have the yellow color, it looks like a little bit too dark. So I can come back over here, just use the large brush and reorganize that a little bit better. Like that. Here you go. So you see the heel, a little bit more dimension. At this point, I could use the palette knife. I can put it right over here if I want to. Just put the color over there and just, I want it to be sharper. I maybe have a little bit color over here. Like that. Make it a little bit sharper, a little bit thicker. I'm going to use this brush. Maybe just have it settle a little bit. Okay, that is quite important. Now I'm going to add the focal point to the painting. I'm going to add some birds. First bird I'm going to add here. Now I'm going to add a second bird. I'm going to add it here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. First I'm going to paint the two wings. I'm going to add a little light.